Welcome everybody, thank you for joining us to the O.C.C. Scrims Diamond Division. Teddy Ursa is on a roll, losing his way in, trying to get in, might land up a kill. That's one, that's two. Is there going to be a three towards this? And it looks like Aldo Chilbro gets knocked out. Mighty Peon landing one, looking up to the sky. Is that going to be a two? Oh, just barely lands it. Clever brings out the blade, looking for some picks. That's one. Looking for another one. That's two. Are they going to land it with a three? And yeah, they are. Three-piece with the Zen. Hammer looking for a spicy hammer down, lands it, and that's a huge play by Hammer. Mal is just losing himself on this point, not letting anyone up, and here he goes with 3 enviro kills. Aldo Chilbro looking for that backline, drops it. That's going to be a combo. Triple kill, knocks him out. And I've got to be careful looking to take that Reinhardt. Quick switch, and here comes the rest of it. Looking to finish this one off.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to O.C.C. Scrims Diamond Division. Today we have a game between Smile and Komodo. I am joined today by Hidden Pants. How are you doing today?
I am the Hidden Pants.
I will take that as good.
Yes, sir.
Maybe bring it down a little bit. Not quite good.
Okay, fine. I will.
Okay. Let's talk about what map we're going into. So we're going into Busan, one of the newer maps. A lot of fun. Control. You have the swap between attack and defense. A really fun type. And let's take a very brief look at these two teams. So, like I said, what is it? Smile versus Komodo today.
Yes, sir.
Is that what it was? So there's some really interesting players on these teams. Who do you think we need to be looking at?
I think as of right now, depending on how the team comps are going to be playing from both sides this evening, the 3 most prominent people I would love to keep our eyes on is Mal, Clever, and the Sun. The Sun with his incredible Ana gameplay, Mal with his tremendously aggressive Reinhardt plays, and Clever with his flexibilities to pick between a support, a flank DPS, and a projectile DPS.
There's certainly a lot of flexibility there, which of course is very important. And let's take a brief look at what these teams might be bringing into this point. It appears that both teams are going to be running goats.
Goats! Dude.
Ladies, let's go!
It's gonna be Overwatch League goats! What's killing the Overwatch League? Is it goats?
Is it, or is it because LA Valiant can't win a game? Find out next week.
Then we'll get to that later.
So now the fight is breaking out. Both teams are just clashing at each other, trying to find an opening. You see Lord Yukon getting in there, trying to find something. and you see these Zarya players, they're trying to get some charge. Mishra's getting a little bit, and look at Mal, knocked up a little bit, and that is going to be the first fall. Spaceman is going to fall, and so there's no main tank for the side of Komodo, and they're being pushed back now. It should just be cleanup time, and that is going to be the first point for Komodo.
This transition is super slow because after they've taken that pick from the Reinhardt, they simply gave up 15 seconds of no point contention between Smile and Komodo. That is a 15-second gap that could be easily prevented if they were able to transition and go straight to point to take that fight there.
And now a Graviton Surge, but a great Transcendence is going to keep everybody alive. Voltage has burned the rally and done a good job of separating Clever from the team. And because of that, there is no protection, and now Spaceman has fallen, no main tank for the other side, and now they're having to fall back, and it's one by one falling again. Look at Smile, they are looking good.
Smile is doing what Smile had to have been doing in their past 5 games. Team coordination, combined aggression, and just ult management to a T. This team coordination is looking wonderful for the side of Smile today.
And that's what goes on. Whoa! That is a big nuke! What was that? How did that work? Ladies and gentlemen, that was 5 people caught by that weapon tech shortly afterwards.
What a beautiful play. He came around from down under. He was able to distract him long enough to where Mal was not paying attention to the backside, and he was simply able to just get the distract while everybody was still focused onto Spaceman. What a play.
Ladies
what an absolute
and gentlemen, somebody clip that. Another nuke is sent in. Will it be catching anybody? It does not. It is hard to live up to that. It does get Lord Yukon out of the mech. With Clever falling, this could have looked bad for Komodo. Was that just a lucky nuke before, or will they be able to hold it? It doesn't seem so. With now Spaceman and Mishra fallen, it's just the rest of the team having to back up and trying to get out alive. But with weapon techs closing in on the sun, doesn't look like it.
What a comeback. From there, it's just making that aggression known to them, putting all that aggression towards the point and taking the fight in their hands, and ult management to make sure you're not overcommitting those ultimates. Just starting off with the Diva Bomb and saving those ultimates after those first couple picks, absolutely devastating, because now Smile has the ult economy, while against... Never mind, let's see how this works out.
Here's the Transcendence, but it keeps everybody alive inside of the Graviton Surge, and Volatile does return in the favor, keeping everybody up. A hammer down, knocks down a lot of people on Komodo. Will they be getting up in time? Looks like they are, thanks to the sound barrier, giving them that extra help. There is a nuke from the side of Smile, and it doesn't seem to be catching anybody, but Mal is able to charge Spaceman into a wall, and that means no main tank. And in fact, with Lord Yukon down, that's not very many off tanks either. There's only Mishra left now on the point. The Sun, no, you got Seed, and now you're going to get God. Will he be able to get on the point, trigger overtime? He does! And with now the Brigida, they're trying to keep everybody alive, trying to use that rally to give everyone some extra armor. Clever does fall, but now Spaceman is back. He falls too, and this time the nuke does not get a pentakill, and it's just Lord Yukon getting knocked off, getting killed, and that is going to be the first round of Busan.
What a incredible transformation that we have been seeing from the side of Smile. They have been working well together. They have been committing only to the ultimates needing for that fight. And above all else, their team coordination on who they need to focus on has improved very greatly. It has become like day and night for this team. They are becoming a much better team. And I don't know if it's with the inclusion of more practice time, with them actually committing more time to just practicing on the things they need to focus on, or if something is just clicking. It is absolutely looking well for Smile this evening.
And how about that for a first match of the new Overwatch Cavalry Club season? That is amazing. So now we're going to be getting into our next round. Look at Clever has swapped over to the Sombra. Looks like the team that's sort of it looks like a Sombra Goats for the most part, and on the other side a plain old normal Goats.
It definitely works if you can work well with the Sombra silences and the overall EMPs, because it will shut down Zenyatta, it will make sure that the Reinhardt has no shield to protect the team, and you can have that forward aggression much better because of that backline aggression as well.
And they did get a good hack off onto Mal, but they followed up so well and were able to kill Clever afterwards. And so because of that, that hack was largely useless. You gotta put down that transponder to be able to get out after you hack someone. Just stayed maybe a little bit too long.
With that, it has to be the coordination of when the Sombra hack goes off, when the Sombra is putting that backline pressure onto the supports, and when the team can push up to push down on the hack target. But as of right now, Volatile, Voltage, and Volatile, and Teddy Ursa have been doing a very good job in protecting their backline and stopping that forward shenanigans.
And just then, Clever was on the point trying to duel the enemy Diva, and it didn't work out. So that was a little bit of a stagger. Here is a Graviton Surge, but it's going to be countered with a Transcendence. Everybody is going to stay alive for now. But Spaceman does get a good charge off onto Voltage. That's a lot of stuns and a lot of healing that is gone now. And now a Graviton Surge from the side of Smile. Everyone's going to be kept alive thanks to a rally and a sound barrier. And now they're just trying to get on the point, trying to win one of these fights, and it seems like they're doing it. Now it's just Weapon Tex and Bagel Guy left onto the point, and they're just going to be swiping through them.
Very nice EMP coming from the side of Clever. That flexibility that he was showing on just switching over from a support into a Sombra EMP hacker has been a very nice transition for this team. Let's see how well they're able to keep putting on that pressure against those hack targets and how well they can hold this point against Team Smile.
We're going to have to see. They have to hold this for a while. They're sitting at 20%, and now it's time for their defense. You see Lord of Yukon trying to get a little bit of charge off of the bubbles, but so far nothing. Oh, a great stun and a follow-up hammer down while the shield was down. That is going to be huge. Now Smile, they're just working onto the point. They should be able to take it without any sort of contention. The rest of Komodo knows to back off. That was some great coordination.
That commitment for the Brigitte to just go into and just stun Spaceman for Mal to coordinate in order to get that beautiful shatter onto that team. What a wonderful combination to see there, and that kind of team coordination that will help these teams win in these dire situations.
How about this for a first game, guys? This is great! And now Graviton Surge is countered with a Transcendence, and a very good Earth Shatter from Spaceman is going to knock Smile down. And now they're just getting onto the point. A clean wipe, a team kill, and they are taking the point back.
These EMPs have been huge. 6-mans have been shutting down against Mal and Brigitte, and that combination has been very killer for the side of Smile. Once you were able to shut that down and then put some more focus on the Zenyatta Discord for them not getting that damage off, Team Smile is just falling under everything, and just seeing how well this is working so well for them.
So another Graviton Surge is countered with a Transcendence. The charge goes on to Volatile, and so is not going to die. But now with Voltage running, but Spaceman has fallen as well as Mishra. Will they be able to stay alive? They're falling back. They're trying to give up ground and give time for their team to get back to them. Just trying to find an opportunity to use this cover as a barrier, and will they be able to do it? They're trying to exchange the damage. Clever is right in the middle of them. There is a nuke from Weapon Tex. It isn't going to be finding anybody, but it's going to be pushing people back. And now they're looking for an opportunity. They want to get on top of Mal, but he's going to be able to get back to the team.
That stall held it for 20 seconds, and that is going to be critical for them trying to push up for this next fight, because that bought them enough time for them to have one more fight for this, which I see is going to be quite stellar if they're able to get the 6-man EMP. Ooh, very
Graviton Surge catches quite a few people on Komodo, but they're getting onto the point. 99%, they triggered overtime. And now everyone's being kept alive through the hammer down thanks to a great Transcendence and a return. Absolutely wipes the enemy team. It's just a few people left on the side of Smile. Will they be able to hold it? I don't think so. Its Voltage is down. Now it's Weapon Tex. Will Weapon Tex be able to hold it? Weapon Tex is knocked off and knocked out of the mech and is killed. Ladies and gentlemen, we're sitting at 85%.
Both teams had an overcommitment of ults there, and that was definitely not super well for the side of Smile due to them not having anything to follow up for this next fight. And after this, they're going to have to be sure that no point contention can happen, and they're able to shut down Mal with Voltage to make sure that hard-hitting damage is not coming off.
Clever is off 1v1ing the Hammond, and he's going to be getting up to the point now. Bagel Guy trying to get in there, knocking some people up, but the EMP comes out, catching so many people on the enemy side. Looks like they'll be able to do it. We're sitting at 99-99 overtime. A hammer down catches the rest of Smile, and that is it. As overtime runs out, round 2, it is 1-1 to the third round.
The swap to Sombra
was absolutely devastating just because of that 6-second silence that's just coming off, and able to utilize and push up and just stop that kind of shenanigans with the Brigitte and the Reinhardt. With the rest of Team Smile though, they need to be sure that they have to protect that hack target, or if that target dies, which is normally the Reinhardt, they are going to have a much harder time due to that prevention of not having a frontline shield. My suggestion would be is to have that frontline aggression to stop any sort of Sombra shenanigans, and to be sure to be adding that same amount of aggression to them to stop any form of forwardness aggression.
So Nethel hitting us with a pretty great copy pasta there in the chat. We have a Sombra. Sombra is a DPS.
Oh,
fine. We got two
Sombra
Sombras
is
now.
a DPS. What do you mean? Sombra is a DPS.
She is, yeah, she is a DPS. She used to be like this weird hybrid support thing, but she's not now. So now, the teams are breaking out into a fight. One team that's pretty interested that Mal swapped over to the Winston, does get stunned, but is going to survive for now, manages to jump out. Voltage has taken out Mishra, but Volatile has fallen. So now the teams are just trying to get control of the point. Mal away from the team. Will it be able to survive? Doesn't look like it. Gets knocked out as well as weapon tech. That is the point going over to the side of Komodo.
Ooh. See, with this one though, they have to be sure whenever they're performing their dive is that they are diving onto the hack target, and they're utilizing that same combination with the Rein Brigitte as you are doing with the Sombra Winston. Once that hack target becomes that target, you have to commit your DPS and your tanks in order to jump on that target. With what I was seeing, it was a 1-2, 1-2. It had to be where it was just immediately 1-1 and then 2-2. You can't have any form of that kind of shenanigans happening.
Right, Spaceman has fallen, though that is pretty important. Voltage doing a good job there. A Graviton Surge does come through and catches several people on the side of Smile, but they do survive for now. They're trying to back off. The shield bash doesn't connect, but it is enough to take out Mal. And now the EMP did manage to help a little bit and to take out Mishra, but it is not enough. Lord of Yukon and the Sun cleaning up the fight, and they will be able to hold on to the point. We're just now rounding 50%.
Voltage needs to get onto that fully charged Zarya. Having her alive and having the Zenyatta alive for that long pumps out so much damage towards the team that is insane, and you have to be sure you are just following up with that.
It seems like Voltage was maybe a little bit too far in there, and Yada picked out. And now, will they be able to survive without that DPS? Doesn't look like it. Mal has fallen, the hammer down does come through, and it's enough to take out weapon techs, and the rest of Smile are being pushed back into the spawn. This is day and night from Komodo compared to the first round. They have now started taking a convincing stand against Smile.
The ultimates even for both these teams. Oh!
A far down EMP from Clever is going to be catching 5 people, and will it be enough? Spaceman is there with Mishra, but they do get caught by the Graviton Surge. The Sound Barrier does not reach them, and now a return Graviton Surge is going to be burning 2 defensive ultimates by the sound of it, and now they are on the point. They will be able to do it just in the nick of time.
This fight has got to be played correctly, because with both defensive ultimates out of the fight from that previous fight, it is going to be a lot harder for them to defend against the Shatter, possibly coming up soon with how high charged Lord Yukon has been playing with the Zarya grab, and possibly the EMP. They have to play together and be able to work well with each other in order to stop any form of damage coming in with the lack of defensive ultimates on the side.
And look at Voltage in the back there trying to find an opportunity, is holding on to that EMP, looking to find it, going, it decides instead to go for Clever and does get it. The rest of the team is doing pretty well. The Sun does burn the Transcendence to try and keep everybody alive, and Volatile was taken out. Teddy Ursa now down, a great hammer down, going to be taking out Mal, but now the EMP is on the point. That is several people on the side of Komodo hacked. Will it be enough? They got weapon tech seem to think so. They're trying to get in there and do work. They don't seem to be able to do it. A return rally from Mishra is going to be keeping everybody alive and healthy. Mal has switched over to the Hamida as well as Clever. They're just trying to get to the point as fast as they can to contest it. A good knockup is going to be knocking up 2 people on the side of Komodo. Lord Yukon is dropping pretty low, but does survive for now. Gets some heals from the Sun. Will they be able to hold on to it? Graviton Surge is going to be catching 3 people on the side of Smile, and will they be able to do it as 1 down? Mal is down. Will it be enough weapon tech to straight swing away? But it won't be enough with Teddy Ursa falling. That is it. They did it. Komodo wins Busan.
as I was saying before, the Zenyatta damage plus the fully charged Lord Yukon Zarya has absolutely tremendous damage when not being approached. And now, let us see this 5-man beautiful Diva Bomb coming out from the side of Lord Yukon.
Just from behind. Oh, you catch it on the pillar, so it lags a little bit. They never responded to it.
And then just that easy transition right over to the point. Very beautiful play.
So good. So good. What every Diva player dreams of.
Oh my goodness.
Gotta
31
save that highlight.
high energy kills from Bagel Guy with his
Bagel Guy was doing pretty well on that Zarya.
That was very nice, but at the end of it all, you can only do so much whenever you have the help of your team, and with that help comes making sure your supports are staying alive long enough and not getting hacked in that back. You have to be sure you're taking respect to the Sombra, because EMP just shreds Zenyatta, destroys Lucio, and makes Brig vulnerable.
Yeah, that shield is obviously very important if that gets hacked away. And also, no, Ryan can put up a barrier. It is such a devastating ultimate. It is one of, if not the most powerful ultimates in the game when used correctly. But it has to be used with a team that will engage on top of it. And that's why we usually see Sombra more in these more competitive 6v6 environments rather than solo queue. But it is so much fun to play, and Clever plays a great Sombra, as we saw. It was maybe a little bit shaky at the beginning of the second round. Had a few times where it was just maybe a little bit overextended, a little bit, tried to engage on someone and stayed a little bit too long. But, overall, definitely worked out very well for him. And some of those EMPs were great. And that one play with Mal and Volatile, or not Volatile, it would have been
Voltage.
Voltage was just so good.
With that, though, you have to be sure, though, you're playing with the respect of what happens during the EMP. EMP destroys shields. That means 200 health away from Zarya and 150 health away from Zenyatta. So if you want to commit just an EMP just to kill those two targets, you are still committing 350 damage, just unmitigated damage that is going towards these characters because of that shield that just gets completely wiped away once the Sombra EMPs for it. It is absolutely critical that you watch out for where that Sombra is going to be playing, and you have to play in accordance to how well those EMPs will come out and the distance on where you need to space yourself if you're that important of a support, such as Zenyatta.
And knowing when the EMP is going to be coming and then positioning outside of his area of effect so that you can follow in with the Transcendence is exactly what you're saying. It is very important. That's what we see some of the best Zenyatta players do in things like the Overwatch League. And some of them are even just good enough that they can just react in time. There is a little bit of charge up to the EMP. Something like a 0.75 second channel time for the EMP. So you can stun it, you can kill her out of it, and you can react with a Transcendence in time if you predict it, but it is obviously very difficult to do. So our next map is going to be Temple of Anubis 2CP, the classic. Can you just hold on to it forever and ever and ever? We will see. And let's take a look at what these teams are running.
Traditional dive coming in from the side of Komodo, and traditional dive on the side of Smile. And with that, that is obviously a very good comp that can be run here because of the amazing amount of forward mobility that you can run with the Winston and the Diva, with the added ability of the Mercy being able to hop back and forth from either the Sniper or from the Lucio or even from the jumping Winston. You're having that forward mobility and just stopping anybody from taking that high pillar, you can cause so much mayhem even from those initial pushes. But let's just see how well Komodo can push up against with their own dive.
So they're coming through the arches now. Definitely keep an eye on Mighty Peon playing Widowmaker. Should be able to do good work. Now the teams are jumping on top of each other. Look at Spaceman falling very low, jumping back in, does stay alive for now, and it's going to be Voltage that is the first casualty of war. And now Spaceman all the way heals back up, jumping on top of the enemy team, and it's going to be Clever that's falling to Mal. Maybe just got a little bit out of position. You see Lord Yukon trying to take out Mighty Peon on the back line, is not going to be able to do it, but is going to be taking out Volatile, who was antsied in the back. Very good communication now. It's Spaceman and fighting weapon techs on the point. They won't be able to do it. And look at poor Lord Yukon way back behind the enemy lines is going to get killed.
With that, it was, once those initial picks were coming off, the DPS have to respond to those snipers and cause them to, any discourse for them to not get into those sites and immediately getting those shots popped. They have to be sure that their tanks can just jump right into their face, take down those targets immediately, and then keep jumping from target to target. Don't stall in those moments, because in those moments the snipers can get a critical pick and stop any forward shenanigans.
So there was Mal taking quite a bit of damage, is back with the team getting killed up by Volatile. Will be enough. The Sound Barrier does come through to try to keep the team alive through the Dragons from Komodo, and it will do a good job of that. The Primal Rage is burned by Spaceman trying and lock Mal into a corner, and will it be enough? Looks like it will be for now, although Mal is holding on to that ultimate as well, trying to save it for the next fight if possible. Trying to spread out some damage across the enemy team. Won't be able to hold on to it. Burns the Primal Rage. Trying to get onto that backline. Trying to deal some damage onto Spaceman for now. Will be able to deal some, but will not be able to get the kill. And now the fight is still going on the point. We see Mal, he's anti-nated, trying to stay alive, but dropping very low. Lord Yukon getting on that, will be able to get the kill. Mighty Peon managing to pick out Clever. Very good shot onto a Genji. Very difficult to do. And Mal is revived. A very risky, very gutsy revive from Volatile. And it's going to pay off. Mighty Peon picking off Mishra. Clean shot there. And now the nuke is on the point. Will not be finding anybody from Lord Yukon. And now the fight is still going on. Trying to get on top of Mal. Will be able to find it with Volatile falling as well. Might not be enough. And now it looks like they tried to do a Nano Blade. Clever though. Clever is still holding on to the Dragon Blade. The Nano Boost went over onto Spaceman, and it was enough to clear the point.
They have to clear those heavy stall component heroes. Once the Winston starts ulting, you have to transition away from that Winston in order to get the D.Va demech. Because at that point, once the Winston comes out of ult, then that D.Va will not have a way of getting back into mech or be completely useless during that fight. While then they can shift their attention back onto the Winston after that ultimate. They need to be sure they focus down those high priority stall targets, or else they're going to keep in a stall war forever.
That is a very important part of this point being paid. And now Spaceman is starting to get off with a kill onto Teddy Ursa. Could be very good. And Weapon Tech is going to be cleaning out Clever. But, you know, the fight is still breaking out. You see Spaceman trying to just get onto the backline with the Primal Rage, trying to get some kills. Will not be able to find it, but Mishra takes out Teddy Ursa and is now trying to get into this room and get some kills. Weapon Tech is going to survive for now, but does get killed out. Will have to be come back from the spawn. Voltage is switched over to the McCree, and Lord Yukon Nano Boosted jumps on top of him and takes him out. So now Teddy Ursa has to go down to the Mega Health Pack to stay alive. The point's being contested by Mal, just staying alive, doing a great job of that. Mishra is back, trying to get some damage on some tanks, utilizing those big new buffs onto the life steal. We're already sitting at 2 ticks. This could be it, but they're just having to stall out, trying to keep this up. Voltage uses the Hydra to take out Mishra and try and clear the point. Good job there. Lord Yukon managed to keep the defense matrix up for a while, and it seems like they're finally being pushed off. Komodo, they will not be able to take the point this push, but they did do quite a bit of taking.
With that much damage coming off from the Reaper, he has to be sure to take down those heavy health targets. They cannot be sitting down and just focusing on the Tracer and the McCree, because that is not where Reaper can shine. It is where he can get up close and personal to the big, heavy hitting tanks and drop them immediately, so that way everybody can push forward and stop any sort of stall shenanigans that has been going on here.
Mishra tried to use the teleport to get onto the little balcony there, but was spotted out by Teddy Ursa and got killed. That's a very risky thing to do. That teleport, you know, is a little bit obvious. And with Spaceman falling, it seems like they won't be able to take this push. They're going to have to fall back again.
They have to push in together. They cannot do any sneaky strats because they're going to be aware of where that Reaper is going to be teleporting. With that, I would definitely say for them to just push in all together with Zangief speed boost, immediately nano the Reaper, wait for him to burn through 8 of those shots, and then have him ult to finish up that nano boost and for him to finish up how that fight's going to go in their favor.
Let's see if they can execute on that. They're starting to push up the middle. They have Spaceman holding that front line, swapped over to the Reinhardt. And, you know, we've seen that's where he does well. Now Nano Boosted trying to get in, trying to do some damage. Here he comes, but it's going to be his team that's taking the damage. Look at them go, weapon tags right on that back line, just doing work with the hammer. And they are just going to clean up Smile, or Komodo rather, yet again.
This flank that Mishra is trying to pull off has not worked for the previous 4 pushes. He needs to work together and just go from the middle with the help of the Reinhardt shield that would be right in front of him and with the assistance of the Lucio speed boost. If he keeps doing what I think he's going to keep doing, which is keep on working on that flank to try and get in that backline ult, I hope that he gets punished for that very heavily.
Looks like he's decided to swap over to the Hanzo, so maybe sticking with the team a little bit more for now. Looks like it is they're going into the tunnels on the left side, and now it is time for another fight. Spaceman does get flashbang, but stays alive. It is nice and healthy, trying to find an opportunity. It's Lord Yukon trying to get on sit back, and Mighty Peon picking up Mishra could be pretty big. A hammer down, doesn't seem to catch anybody from Smile, but the one from Komodo does, but it just stalls them out for now. Because the High Noon, you have to keep that shield up, and Spaceman did end up falling there, so wasn't able to stay alive from that. And now it seems like yet again, Komodo's having a difficult time. Lord of Yukon knocked out of the mech, trying to just get away now, but is going to get picked out by Voltage.
With this, they have to be sure that they're playing on the targets that are being called. For that, it is making sure to keep following up and pushing up with your Reinhardt, keep adding that forward aggression to what the Reinhardt is pushing out, and working with that Lucio to utilize that speed boost to the maximum efficiency, just so you can keep moving together as a forward unit rather than just getting picked off one at a time by the Mighty Peon.
So now it's time for overtime. There's just 20 seconds left. You hear that bass dropping in the music, and it is time to push in. The point is being contested. Spaceman is on the front trying to keep that shield up, and is now Nano Boosted, wants to get in there, wants to do some damage, but is being kept back from the enemy team. Great job with O.C.C there. Mal does get taken out, but is brought right back thanks to the revive, but it doesn't seem to be enough with Volatile and Teddy Ursa falling. That could be it. A good Graviton Surge is going to keep all the people on Komodo together into one spot, but a better nuke is going to keep the enemy team off of them, keep them from killing them, and now it seems like they're taking the point. They're doing a good job of clearing everybody out. It's just Teddy Ursa left on the point, and now it's Voltage trying to get on there, trying to stall it out a little bit longer. Now it's Mal on it, using the ground pound to knock everybody up, and a hammer down. It doesn't catch anybody from weapon tech, and oh, Spaceman falls just before the Transcendence lands, but it could be enough. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Komodo takes round 1 with 2 points.
That slow push with the heavy Lucio speed boost with the Nano to just stall it out and get them into unfavorable positions, which was that back corridor. They were able to keep focusing on the Lucio, Mal as the Zarya, and Volatile as the Mercy, and were able to just keep swinging in there and just getting all that AoE damage in such a confined area to where their team had to commit to save them, where they would just be caused more damage than good, or than you get what I mean.
Yeah, it would have been pretty rough for them, and now we're going to have to see what these teams are going to think of for this next round. We're probably going to be getting to see some more Widowmaker plays from the side of Teddy Ursa possibly playing that, or Mighty Peon rather playing that, and looks like that is what we're going to be seeing. A pretty standard dive comp on the offense with a pretty standard death ball defensive composition from the side of Komodo. Actually, it looks like Spaceman, I don't know, he was going back. Is he faking me out or not?
No, she is not faking you out. It's okay. But
No, with that though, it definitely is. Let us see how well they can utilize just with the Diva getting that high ground positioning to stop any sort of shenanigans that Widowmaker could be putting out for the side of Smile, and if Voltage is possibly going to go Sniper, but for this moment he is going to be going as the Robot Ninja.
So now it's time for the offense. You want to utilize that dive composition. How are you going to do it? It looks like Mal decides to just go up onto the front using that bubble shield to get a little bit of protection. It isn't going to be fighting anybody quite yet. Clever did fall pretty low, but does stay alive. Now as Lord Yukon has fallen very, very low, trying to stay alive for now. Does get knocked out of the mech, trying to use that blaster long range to get some ult charge and get that mech back. Seems to be getting caught out by the enemy Diva and is going to be killed. Now Spaceman is up on those stairs trying to create a front line, create a defensive opportunity. They want to hold this out for a pretty long time because that is what the enemy did to them, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Mal is now nano boosted, and with a kill on the Spaceman, this should be the first point.
That overcommitment from Lord Yukon and Clever really was not needed at those moments because they had to play back with where the Reinhardt shield was going, which was going back to the point, instead of playing that far up to where the 6 people were just instantly just jumping right on top of them and taking their kill.
So now it's time for another offense. They have to take this point B, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They have 6 minutes and 40 seconds to do it, but and any extra time that they have over overtime is time that they have over the enemy. So now it's time for a good offense. Mishra does take out Mal, who is hanging out up at the high ground, so this could be pretty good for the defense here. A nuke does come through, but Lord Yukon won't be able to catch anybody with it. And it seems like Smile, they know what's up. They're just backing off, waiting for their team.
With this, I want to definitely see how well Spaceman is able to utilize that shatter, and for her to get that easy four-man shatter with the lack of a no frontline shield coming out from Mal after he drops his bubble.
So we may just see it. They're falling back. They're just holding that line, trying to find a good opportunity. The sound barrier does come through for the side of Smile, trying to keep everybody alive. The hammer down does happen, but doesn't seem to catch much of anybody. And this is looking awfully good for the side of Smile. Voltage burns the Dragon Blade. Isn't going to be able to find anybody with it. Lord Yukon was the last one on the point. To be able to defend it doesn't look like it. A devastating offense from Smile.
My goodness, that was quite a play coming off from Mal and from Weapon Tech. That combination of Diva and Winston just jumping in, immediately stomping onto those characters that are super low, and to just take those kills is absolutely fantastic. With the lack of the Reaper actually focusing on those tanks, Smile was able to commit a much harder task onto Spaceman and stopping her from just being able to just swing her hammer around without any check, and being able to just stop anything that Mishra was able to do just because he was being distracted. That is definitely Komodo's downfall, and if Mishra does not get his act together, this is going to be a rough evening for the side of Komodo tonight.
They're going to have to find some sort of different strategy if they want to be able to hold this next point. It looks like one thing that they're going to do is they seem to be running Mishra on the Soldier. Maybe that's more of a comfort pick. Hasn't been in the meta for a while, but if played well, could do well. Now, never mind. Going to be swapping over to the Hanzo. And one thing that's also pretty interesting is that Voltage is playing the Sombra, so they're going to be looking for those hacks, those coordinated backline pushes, and if they get a good hack, it could be very good for that offense. For now, it seems like they're just sitting back, waiting, letting their Sombra do the scouting.
With this, early scouting is able to just determine what the team has to play around, and it will help way before the timer even starts for the tab, and being able to see what the team is able to show.
And now looks like Voltage is looking at the Sun, sneaking up behind, wanting to get a hack out. Does get it, but the Sun does fall down behind the cover, but it is not enough. Mighty Peon, lots of good communication there, did a good job taking him out, and Voltage still just doing work, demeching Lord Yukon and taking out Mishra, and now it is time for the point. Komodo, they don't stand a chance. That slow calculated push means that they are going to be able to win map 2. This is neck and neck.
What a fantastic show we are going to have this evening. 1-1 going into the halftime. And with the play of the game coming out from Spaceman, and I think it's going to be that primal within the house.
Look at that, just getting onto poor Mighty Peon. They're stuck in a small room with an angry monkey, and that is not what you want. Managing to shut down Voltage there as well. Lots of great plays there from both of the main tanks, but it is going to be Smile that wins the second map.
That was quite an interesting play coming off from both attack and defense, coming out from everybody on the side of Komodo. But in order for them to actually focus up, both of their DPS have to work in tandem together and being sure to get those picks, especially if Mishra wants to continue being the Reaper. He cannot be chasing down the Tracer and the Genji.
So now we're going to go into a short halftime show. We have a little bit of a video presentation for you guys, and I hope that you enjoy it. See you guys for map 3, and who knows, we may even be going to a map 5. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to O.C.C. Scrim's Diamond Division, the match between Smile and Komodo. Right now, we're sitting at 1-1. We're going to be going into Map 3 pretty soon. Let's take a very quick rundown of what happened in the previous matches, though.
Komodo won the first map, and Smile won the second map. It's a tied game for this evening, 1-1 as we move on to Game 3.
Close enough. So our next map is going to be King's Row, the classic hybrid map, and now we're going to be able to get to see some more things. Sadly, there has been some changes going around. Spacebit did have to go and is going to be replaced. We're now seeing Bagel Guy, Bacon, and Amara coming in on the side of Smile. And on the side of Komodo, we've seen Zanvies and Hammer come in.
Zanvies has always been playing, though. It's just the Hammer.
Was Zanvies? Zanvies was playing before. You're right. I'm sorry.
It's also pronounced Zanives. It's like
Zanives?
Yeah, Zanives. Hey man, I'm just here to help you. What do you mean? It's you can read it right there. It's words. It's letters. They form into words. You got this. I believe in you. You got this. Nathaniel, it's your bedtime. Go to sleep.
So now we're going to be getting into the next map pretty soon. Once the final things are figured out, and we go in at some point. It's okay.
At some point, we got this.
So, what do we usually see on King's Row?
Typical goatsing around. It's just because of the no forward mobility. It's everything is just done straight, right to the point, and just that super heavy brawler comp that just works so well with those tight corridors, especially within the tunnels, in the front yard, in the backyard, on the roof, and above all else, right in the trees.
So yeah, lots of standard goats. We have seen also a lot of snipers come through on the offense at the very beginning. There's lots of places for Widowmaker to go, and even on defense, you can see some Widowmaker getting played. And traditionally, if you think back a long time ago, Meta Athena played a triple sniper composition with Ashe, Widowmaker, and Hanzo way back in the day. Back at Apex, I guess it would have been the Korean League, but probably not going to be seeing that here. We're going to be getting in now. This should be pretty interesting.
With this, I definitely have to see how well the defense is able to play with just utilizing that corner and for them just able to work together to stop any forward momentum that's coming in from the attacking side. If they're able to stop every one of those pushes successfully and they're able to keeping those players alive and not being hacked or losing that Reinhardt for those beginning fights, they are going to have a easy time with how well they're going to be defending against these attacks.
a lot of this is dealing with that choke. Can you get through it fast enough and get onto the point, or can you hold it and keep the enemy back? What interesting strategies do you come up with to get around it? For now, let's take a look at what these teams are doing. So Smile, they're running what is essentially Snoats, but Amara playing the Mei is on a is taking the place of Diva in this case, and then they're running the 3 supports, Lucio, Brig, and Zenyatta.
Ooh, so this is essentially going to be the Sombra Goats, and let's see how well it runs against the traditional Goats this evening.
Looks like that is going to be what Komodo is playing there, just want to power through. The thing is, can they get past that Mei wall in time? If you get cut off by that wall, it could be really bad for you. Let's see if they can do it. Lord Yukon is the first through, and no, the 2 tanks are caught out. No, but you know, lots of mobility, able to get in there and support. Amara almost caught out, gets stunned, but does get back to the team. And now they're going through Hotel Komodo. They're trying to just get onto that backside. It's a lot harder to defend for their teams don't have enough practice doing that. And now look at poor Brigida does manage to get away. Mishra just getting back to the team, getting the heals that they need. And now the hammer starts swinging, trying to get in there, trying to deal a little bit of damage, and Mal gets taken out as well as Mishra. Down 1 on both sides, but the side of Smile is down a main tank. It looks like now they're going to be down Zenyatta as well. The hammer down does come through from Hammer, and it catches 3, and that is going to be the first point.
Oh my goodness, Smile with that transition for this side. It was not effective. As soon as they were able to just push around and keep that point as theirs, it was essentially as if they just swapped sides from attacking to defending. You have to be sure you're holding back against that attack. Even if you're having to play around those tight chokes, that's still something vastly important you have to do, because once you lose that momentum to keep that pressure from them trying to attack, you are just at a very bad position of getting sandwiched by either the respawning side or by the Reinhardt with Brigida pushing up.
So now the Graviton Surge is only going to be catching Hammer, and the Sun doesn't get there quite in time with the Transcendence, and so he is going to fall. No main tank for the side of Komodo, but a return Graviton Surge is going to be catching a lot of people, and the nuke isn't going to be finding anybody in the Blizzard, zoning off a lot of members of Komodo. Amara does get stunned, but is going to survive. It is going to be Clever that falls next. Hammer right in the middle of the enemy team. It's dropping pretty low, but is going to die from a nice fire strike from Mal, and the rest of Komodo gets cleaned up.
That was quite an impressive hold against them, and this Mei wall is actually going to be able to get a longer stall out. Very impressive on the side of coming from Smile this evening.
Lots of good work there. Poor Clever trying to get the mech back. She just wants to die. It's muffin time, guys.
It's muffin time.
Muffin time? Please
Is
let me
it?
die.
Yeah, but that kind of stall does give them 15 seconds of wiggle room to play around with, and it will help them vastly with just burning down that timer.
I mean, most teams can get to this, at least up to the second checkpoint. So as far up they can hold as they can, the better. So now we see Clever back on the Sombra, but they do know. So now you see Smile backing off. They're playing very defensively now that the enemy team is up there. And poor Hammer got walled off and fell into the enemy team. Tried to burn the Hammer down and went straight into Mal's barrier. And so isn't going to be catching anybody. Now you see poor Lord Yukon all alone on the back line, trying to stay alive with the bubble. Isn't going to be able to survive for too long. Is just getting booped around and frozen, and is going to be killed.
Ooh, that heavy stagger once again. They need to be baiting out that Mei wall so that way there's no funny business coming off from the side of Smile. And with that, it will definitely help if they're just able to keep pushing forward.
A good hammer down, but it is going to be nullified by the Sun. But because of that, there's no Transcendence available for the Graviton Surge, so instead they're going to be using the Sound Barrier to stay alive. See Amara way up on that high ground, just stalling everyone out right now. This stall is insane. You see the Transcendence being brought out by Volatile to keep the team alive, and now around so many support ultimates being used this fight. Now Mishra wants to move forward, wants to team has a little bit of armor. They just can't do it quite yet, though. But now it seems like they can. Hammer charging up into the front line does get a kill on Bagel Guy. This could be pretty important. But now the Blizzard comes out, doesn't get eaten because you have no Diva now. And poor Hammer way inside of the subway doesn't seem to be able to get out for now. Lots of people getting frozen onto the point, but Lord Yukon does survive thanks to that bubble. And the Hammer is back, and he's here to help you with your car insurance. And that is going to be the second checkpoint.
There's actually a lawyer in Texas called Jim Adler, the Texas Hammer, and his newest commercial is that he faces head on with 18-wheelers because he wants to sue against the big corporate elites. And I'm not making any of this up.
No, it's actually a really big firm with like spits all over the state. We have one where we are too. Anyway, so Mishra getting a triple kill inside of the Graviton Surge. Great play from the side of Komodo there. Boramara just gets jumped on. That is a team kill. They'll be able to push up this payload pretty far.
That is quite the impressive ult management that is coming off from the side of Komodo this evening. But we just gotta see how well they're able to just keep pushing forward and taking down those tanks.
Oh! A very good flank charge means that Bagel Guy gets caught out. And a return Hamilton Surge does mostly go into a May wall, but still does a good job. A charge onto Mara is going to kill her, and now it is time for the final push. You hear the music starting up, but the Graviton Surge catches a lot of people with Komodo, but for the most part they stay alive. It's going to be Mal that falls, but Xanives has been taken out. Bagel Guy gets charged again by the Hammer and gets killed. So now Hammer is trying to get forward, trying to use that barrier, but for now they're taking the defensive route. They don't have all their players, they don't have Mishra there, so they're taking the safe route and they're falling back.
With that, it's just better to just regroup as a full six-man stack, being able to push in together instead of separately, and to be able to work together with those combined ultimates.
There's a Graviton Surge. Volatile is going to be using Transcendence to keep everybody alive, and a return Hammer down catches 3 on the side of Komodo, but they're all kept alive by the sound barrier. Bacon manages to boop Lord Yukon over the edge into the hole, down towards the slums below, and it's time for the last bit. Will they be able to do it? We now see Amara swapped over to the Vara, and they're doing a great job of pushing Komodo back. Mal does get knocked down by Mishra. Both decide to take a little nap on the floor, and this seems to be a reset.
Oh, let's see how well this grouping is. With the added amount of damage from coming out from the Pharah, I would love to see how well that aggression can work well with the Zarya and the Reinhardt just pushing forward and being able to keep putting that kind of pressure onto that team.
They don't have a lot of ways to deal with that Pharah, so they're going to have to just push through, and if they can kill Pharah, then that is their chance. They're going to have to rely on Clever. The EMP is going to be coming up. It's sitting at just 99% right now, so we'll be seeing it. Mal does get stunned. It is going to get killed. There is the EMP, but Amaro managed to avoid it, uses the rocket barrage, but for the most part the team is kept alive through the Transcendence. It's just Mishra that fell. And now the team is pushing forward. A great fire strike from Hammer is going to take down Farah. And now it's time for a final push. Mal trying to use the spin to win. Can't get quite enough momentum in that narrow area. Gonna have to put you back. Just getting up on top of the point. Trying to get a little bit of damage out of his back. Using the shield to stay alive, but is hacked. Will not survive this. And now it's time for a final push. We're in the overtime. Can they do it? A Graviton Surge catches Bacon. Bagel Guy is on the point, trying to start off for as long as he can. Get tagged right before dying, and that is it. The push to the end.
The push to the end. A very wonderful job coming out from the side of Komodo this evening. With that, it's just that kind of EMP silencing has been proven useful for the side of Komodo, just being able to push forward and taking these kind of picks. If Smile wants to have any form of initiative to keep any form of that kind of shenanigans from ever not being used as well against them, they have to play a separate kind of comp with this. Goats does not work as well without any ability heavy users. They need to be sure that they can work all together, and being able to come in and stop that kind of Sombra mobility is absolutely critical, and they have to be sure that they're stopping it.
So we'll have to see what these teams are going to be doing with this next push. So once we get to see these compositions where they see will now Smile run goats, it seems like they're at least thinking about it. Just Amara has to play the Diva and they'll have it. And it looks like we're getting a plain old Sombra goats from the side of Komodo.
With that, it's just playing separately and playing together once the individual hack and the group EMPs are ready to go. Because once the Sombra has to decide on who they're wanting to EMP or to hack during those fights, you have to be sure you're protecting those people and being sure to help out with the aggression, so that way they can't be as forward aggressive as the team that is putting out the hacks. There has to be some balance to how that damage is coming off, and being able to just stop that forward aggression is critical for these moments.
So now it's time for the game to start. Will they be able to push through this choke? They're being very aggressive. Clever's on that back line, looking for a good hacking target. Decides to not go for the hack quite yet, and instead is going to use his, gets a little bit of damage out, then uses the translocator to back out. Now has the bubble on him, but it does fall after a great stun from Mishra, and now no main tank on the side of Smile. Clever is trying to get a hack off, will not be able to find it quite yet. Now is just shooting that SMG into the enemy lines, but won't be able to get much damage out.
With that kind of halting presence against that kind of Reinhardt, they need to push swiftly, justifully, and above all else, quickly.
That's a pretty high bar to clear, though. Will they be able to do it? A big hammer down says they may be able to, but a return transcended. But the hammer down from Hammer, he ended up getting boomed back. A big EMP catches all the members of Smile. They can't do anything besides hold mouse one, and you see Amara now getting knocked out of the mech, getting killed with Volatile in that back line, being the last one to fall.
Ooh, what a powerful combination of ultimates that are coming out from both sides. But the biggest one definitely with this is that with Bacon not being able to get his ultimate off and having to sit there and being EMP'd and getting immediately grabbed, not having the defensive ultimate is very, very largely against the side for Smile this evening. We have to see how well they play together in these moments.
Right now, definitely Komodo is looking pretty good. Clever having to use the translocator very quickly to get back behind their friendly lines, and now it's time for another push. Both teams are eyeing each other warily. Bagel Guy is wanting to get a little bit more charge, is sitting on quite a bit. The hack doesn't come through for Clever, gets stunned out, but a repair pack does keep them alive. So now it's time for the push. Volatile uses the Transcendence preemptively, sort of expecting the team to be able to push up through it, and a great Transcendence from the Sun is going to keep everybody alive through a hammer down. A very far charge is going to push the... you see Mal all the way back inside of the cafe, but it seems to be what they need. They're contesting this point now. They don't have much of a way to hold on to it, but no, they are doing it. The EMP and the hammer down catches 4, and they take the point back from the grip of death. 2 ticks.
My goodness, that EMP was absolutely critical in those moments, because without that frontline shield protecting the Reinhardt, that backline just immediately got shattered, along with the Graviton coming out and just stopping any of that point capture and immediately stopping Smile from trying to push up onto the next point.
Both rallies used by the two teams. The EMP does catch Xanives, and Hammer was charged by Mal. This could be what they need to take the point. They almost have it. They're sitting on 86%, and it seems like Komodo won't be able to hold on to it any longer. And that is going to be the first point taken with just 30 seconds left. So now they have a total of 3 minutes.
With the ult economy, with both sides being equal, let us see how well these Rhine duels are going to be played out, because unless the other team is actually able to keep putting that kind of pressure onto Reinhardt, this is going to be a hard match to win against, especially with the Sombra getting these essential hacks coming off and just stopping that forward momentum coming from Smile.
Right now, Clever doesn't seem to have been able to get very many good hacks off so far. Has a difficult time right now. You see the side of Smile, they're dealing with that so well. The hammer down is blocked by the shield, and it is returned back the enemy team is just pushing through. Komodo is wiping the enemy team thanks to that EMP. They're able to do whatever they want, and that is another team kill.
Woo! The EMPs, though, however, have been coming off very successfully for the side of Komodo this evening, and with those ultimates being used together and in that forward fashion, it is working quite well for them, and they still are working well to build to the next ult.
So now both teams are trading blows again, and it's going to be Mal that falls, and it seems like Komodo, they're being a little bit cautious. They don't want to push up too close to that spawn. They know that they do not have the respawn advantage, so they just take their picks and go.
With that archway, though, it is going to be a tight push coming out from the side of Smile. It is very defensive behavior due to that power of what is happening.
Rally's being used on both sides. The Graviton Surge is going to be catching several people on the side of Komodo, and it's going to be Hammer that falls. The nuke does come through, and it catches Lord Yukon quite a bit, but they do survive. And now it seems like Smile is looking pretty good. They're pushing forward, now charging all the way in, but isn't going to be able to find a kill quite yet. Bagel Guy wants to get it, though. Clever gets caught out a little bit, gets seen, but does get back behind the shield.
Ooh, now with the ult economy being much more heavily favored for the defending side, we have to see how well this EMP Shatter is going to be coming out. It has been doing well in the past, but we have to see with that coordination between Clever and Hammer is just how well they're able to get it.
There it is huge yet again. They have practiced that to a T, and now they're just charging through the enemy team yet again. Smile is not able to catch a break.
This kind of game has come down to these moments where you have to be playing separated and being not able to get shattered at the same moment. Playing on the high ground and playing split will help with that justified decisions, because it will stop from Clever trying to get that coordinated EMP, and the shatter has to be committed to one or two players.
So the hammer down doesn't go straight into Mal's shield, only catches one person. It seems like it doesn't matter though. Graviton Surges are doing the work. They get another team wipe. A second left on the clock. That is Komodo winning King's Row.
Very wonderful job coming out from the side of Komodo with those coordinated plays. Very nice job.
So that means it is now 2-1. And so it's the first team to 3 points, right? So we still have a chance for a map 5, correct?
Yes, we do.
I can never remember how the point system works
right
in the
now,
Overwatch League.
So right now they play up to 4 matches, with it being best 3 out of 5. But they want to play up to the 4th match, just because they want to play as much as they possibly can. With that, there is probably a more justified reason, but I'm not 100% certain on that. And with
I
that,
believe it's because Overwatch League counts up map score, not just whether or not you won or lost the whole thing. So you have to play at least 4 matches to get your plus-minus map win.
With that, though, it's also the event of a draw. Whenever the draw does happen, that is considered for both teams to add 1 point to what is initially their final count. And whenever a draw does happen, if the team is at 2-1, then the final score at that would be 3-2. So they have to have it as just a way of just, in the case of a draw. Right.
And draws are a thing in some of the maps inside of Overwatch, not all of them.
2CP!
2CP! And so that is why you have to have an escort or a control map as the tiebreaker 5th map, otherwise people can be there forever. And so this is looking pretty good for the side of Komodo. That was a very convincing win.
With them having that coordinated ult between the EMP Shatter, the EMP Grab, they have worked quite a lot on just perfecting where they're going to be getting those hacks and those EMPs coming off from, what kind of pressure to be putting onto those hack targets, and above all else, just stopping that kind of silliness that would happen if they're trying to become more forward.
You know, I was a little bit concerned about Hammer maybe not performing as well as we saw Spaceman, but I think it's safe to say that is still doing a very good job. They have great coordination with Clever, and their communication seems to be incredibly on point.
It's always, though, how well you're able to work in those team environments. You can definitely tell Hammer and Clever synergy has worked a lot more in the past, just on how well these games have been playing and these kind of advantages. You want to also be certain that with all these maps that they are playing together, what kind of strategies they want to utilize, and with them seeing how well the EMPs have been working in the Busan map, I think that's where they want to put their focus on, and to just keep using that same strategy in order to keep winning against Smile. But we have to see how well Smile can adapt to these kind of situations, because there can be ways that you can immediately shut down Sombra, such as establishing high ground dominance, playing more split whenever you know the EMP is coming out, and protecting your hacked target from the initial fight. And above all else, putting out that forward kind of pressure does help, but playing conservatively can also win those fights as well.
So you really just have to choose. You can't flounder when you're EMP'd. You have to either still stay aggressive and you're pushing in and just try to power through it with DPS, or you have to immediately leave and back around a corner or something like that. And it requires a lot of communication. And right now it seems like Clever and their team are doing a great job of utilizing that to its fullest potential.
It's always rough to decide on those moments, because there are times where being aggressive does help and it stops that kind of silliness, but also taking that moment to just wait out that 6 seconds and to just let the team try and push forward onto you while you can get those isolated picks while they turn around the corner and try and stop you, that is also just as critical as well. But playing together and having that coordination is vastly critical in these moments.
So now it looks like we're going to be getting traditional goats from Smile's defense, or not traditional goats, traditional dive with Mighty Peon on the Widowmaker. And we're getting the same Sombra goats from the side of Komodo, and they are running the Sun on Ana now and Xanives on the, well, really this is just more of a death ball. Now that I look at it, it was Sombra goats in the spawn, but the fight is breaking out. Mighty Peon doesn't seem to be able to land enough shots, and Lord of Yukon take him out thanks with the help of Mishra, and now lots of offense going on. Mishra being kept alive thanks to the Pharah, and now it is they are doing it. They're going to be holding on to this point. Mal taking quite a bit of damage from the Pharah, has to back off for now, and the payload is sitting at the archway, and it seems like we're not going to get much breathing time. Hammer is back and going to be swinging away onto the enemy. A great hammer down is going to spell the end for this defense. Poor weapon tech's going to be the last one there.
You made a tactical error.
With that, it is absolutely critical, because the moment once Mal was able to get immediately hacked, no bubble coming down for the side of Smile, and on top of all that, that forward pressure coming in from the Xanives and also Mishra Farah Mercy combo, it is just adding even more damage to it and just stopping Mighty Peon in those tracks.
As much as Widowmaker does counter Pharah and Farah Mercy, a good Pharah makes it very difficult to hit those headshots, and you really do have to hit that headshot if you want to take it out. And just, you see Mishra being so aggressive, getting on top of the enemy, but Mighty Peon does win it out in the end. So now Xanives is trying to get back to the team. They did win thanks to a Graviton Surge earlier, and now they're just keeping that steady offense.
Oh, I brain farted super hard. Things.
It's fine. I should have started talking, but it seems like we're getting another fight anyway. The Guardian Angel is going to be coming from Volatile, the Valkyrie keeping everybody alive, and now the Nano Boost coming through for Hammer. The Hammer down doesn't catch anybody though. That is a pretty big blunder, and he's going to pay for it. Hammer gets taken out, and Weapon Tech's just pushing through, taking out Lord Yukon as well. It seems to be the end of this Komodo's offense.
With that Nano torts Mal. Whenever he had 80 plus charge, he is pumping a serious amount of isolated damage coming off, and that tracking has to be critical in those moments. Even with the energy balls coming out from the Nano Zarya, still does a tremendous amount of damage against very tightly niched and grouped up targets. We have to see how well they're able to play in those kind of situations and stopping that Mal from ever getting any more of those kind of damage coming off.
Looks like Hammer has taken away his namesake, is now playing the monkey, trying to get onto the back line, use that Tesla cannon and get some damage off, but is not enough. The team was sticking with the payload because of that weren't really able to support Hammer in their offensive, and so now the rest of the team is being pushed back. A Hammer down is going to clean it up, and O.C.C, maybe a little bit of an unnecessary high noon from Voltage, is going to be taking out Lord Yukon.
Woo-wee! This hold coming out from Smile this evening has been much better from this map alone than what we haven't seen in King's Row. It's just clicking so much better with Mal being on that Zarya, Weapon Tech going over to the Reinhardt, and Mighty Peon just putting that forward aggression as the Widowmaker and just getting those backline picks. Let's see how well they're able to keep this up for the next 2.5 minutes.
Sometimes it just takes a little bit of switch up. So now, if we look at what Komodo is doing, they're going out to the back line, but they are spotted out by Mal. Lord Yukon and Mal are duking it out a little bit, and the Graviton Surge comes through on both sides. And it seems like the one from Komodo is going to be the one that wins out. Hammer does fall, but not before taking out 3 members of the other side. So now Smile, they're looking pretty rough. The Dragon Strike is going to be zoning the enemy off for now while they get on the payload and push it around the corner.
Let's see if they're able to contest for this next point, because with that much time coming up, ooh, and the EMP comes off very well. Let's see how much pressure they're able to keep pushing up.
Lord Yukon trying to get in there, doing a little bit of damage, but it is not going to be enough. Gets instantly taken out thanks to Mighty Peon and Weapon Techs, and this is not looking good. The Hammer tried, ended up getting caught out in the back line, and it's Xanai's in the Sun being taken out next.
With Mighty Peon just getting those picks and the Voltage just being able to fan the Hammer with the flash, those picks are coming off respectively well, and they are able to keep up that aggression against this aggressive team. Let's see how well they're able to keep pushing, because unless they're able to switch up something and stop either Mighty Peon or Voltage just getting these picks, it is going to be a rough time for the side of Komodo this evening.
They're going to have to find something, and now we're looking at Hammer, who does have the ultimate. Once he uses that Primal Rage, going to be jumping on top of Voltage, using the bubble to stay alive, but it's dropped very low, and they're going to be burning the Primal Rage, jumping on top of Volatile in the back, trying to deal a little bit of damage, and is now back with the enemy, trying to just do something to take them out. The Mana Boost is going to come through to keep Hammer alive and possibly deal this extra damage that they need, doing quite a bit, but the Hammer down is going to be taking out 2 members of the side of Komodo. The Transcendence does come through to keep the rest alive. Will it be enough for them to push it forward to this last checkpoint? Looks like they'll be able to do it. There it is, checkpoint 2.
Ooh, this one's going to be a little bit rougher just coming off from the side of Komodo, because right now they're going to be having to face within 2 major sightlines, and the Widowmaker is popping off this evening. Let us see how well Mighty is able to take those sightlines and use them for his advantage.
Going to be pretty rough, and I feel like Mishra maybe burned that Dragon Strike a little bit early, and Teddy Ursa being a little bit too aggressive, skating along the wall. No skating here, no skating allowed. It's back to Footloose, baby, and it's time for another fight. Lord Yukon does get slept, but does survive for now. Hammer just trying to keep the team alive, trying to find an opportunity to push forward. They're looking to get past this very difficult choke point. Clever gets taken out mid-dash by Voltage, but with a good kill from Mishra could be good. A nuke does take out Weapon Techs and Volatile. Weapon Techs went over to check out what was happening behind that corner, brought down the shield, and he got taken out instantly. Voltage using the high noon to take out Lord Yukon in the Baby Diva form. Was it a waste? Maybe not, maybe. But now it's time for what could be the final offense. You see Hammer on that back line, using the Primal Rage to knock him around. It's enough. They take it all the way to the end.
Woo! That ult utilization to knock off those targets off of the payload. What a fantastic job from the side of Hammer this evening. He was able to push every one of those targets off, let the payload keep pushing, keep adding that no, this is my payload, I'm gonna push it in, and he kept that attitude running.
So this is looking pretty good for them. Now, that was a pretty good offense, taking it all the way to the end, but it was also a very good defense from Smile. They did not give up an inch without fighting for it tooth and nail. We're going to have to see what their strategy is going to be in this next offense.
With this, I would definitely want to see if they're going to be running that dive comp, or if they're going to utilize Mighty Peon's aggressive Widow plays on just getting those significant back line picks that have been just so devastating against this team. And we just have to definitely see if they're able to keep pushing forward as this, and being able to keep playing as well together in this map, even though in the previous maps they have not been able to work so well.
Lots of activity going on in the chat. Keep it up, guys. And who do you think is going to win? Right now, it's looking pretty good for Komodo. But at any time, Smile can turn it around. We get into this next offensive round. Smile, they want to push this payload all the way to the end. And Komodo did do it, but they only had 18 seconds to spare. And now it's time.
They still had time. They're still going to be adding that 1 minute at the very end, even if Smile is able to keep pushing in. And with that 1 minute, that could devastatingly change how well this game is going to be played. So even if they did still have time, that's still a minute added to the overall push for the next round.
Clever getting the first, or going to be dying first in this round, taking a lot of damage and does get killed. Mal dropped pretty low but got healed up very well by their team. And now it could be the next offense. We see Mishra and Lord Yukon up at the top. They have now fallen down. The payload is now at the arch. Both teams are trying to find an opportunity. Mal jumps in because Hammer is down, and that is the Genji blade. Volatile getting, or not Volatile, Voltage getting on that back line, going to be taking out two people, and with the help of Mighty Peon, that appears to be a wipe. They're going to be pushing this payload pretty far, pretty quickly.
Ooh, these picks have been coming out so well on the side of Mighty this evening, and it is showing very well. And I have to say, they are doing quite an impressive job with this attack. Let's see how much better they're able to do with this next push.
They are going to be holding up very far forward. They don't want to be fighting on that payload. They've just left They just left Teddy Ursa back there to push it forward all by their lonesome. And now the nuke does come forward. Yukon is going to force the enemy back, but they do maneuver out of the way behind that wall. And they are back on the offensive board. Yukon knocked out of the mech. Mishra did manage to get a kill onto Mal, and Clever went onto the back line and took out Teddy Ursa. You have to watch that back line. Clever realized what was happening. Did good work there.
Ooh, this is going to be quite a match this evening. If this kind of pressure is coming out from Clever and Mishra, and Clever's able to keep putting that kind of pressure onto Mighty, this is going to change dramatically how well Mighty is going to be having to play that Widowmaker. If he needs to switch now, this would probably be one of the better times to do so they can keep up that aggressive attitude.
They look at these ultimates that are coming online. Both these teams are sitting on a lot. So this next fight is going to be very explosive. Clever using the Genji blade, but gets countered by the Transcendence. Won't be able to find any kills, and now actually does manage to shut down Clever. And the Nano Boost went on to Lord Yukon, but not much happened with that either. Although Volatile is down, it seems like they're doing a good job of pushing forward. They are going to be taking out Mal and Weapon Tech as well. With both tanks down, the rest of Smile is backing off.
Ooh, this aggressive hold, especially with how early. And with that, the changes come out from Mighty Peon from the Widowmaker over to the McCree. Let's see how well they're able to keep up with this Flash Fan Hammer combo. Or better yet, to just completely halt any form of momentum that Clever could be pushing out, and just having Mal finish up with the kill.
So now Mal jumping onto the backline wants to do some damage, but is anti-nated, and a great nuke from Weapons actually going to be taking out two people. And with Voltage on the Genji blade is also doing work on the enemy, and it seems like they're going to be able to push this payload, looks like all the way to the end.
Ooh, this is
there still is possibility of one more fight coming out from the side of Komodo, but with them having this ult economy, I would definitely say they have to utilize it well for this next push, or else they are going to lose this point rather quickly.
A good call going up onto the high ground and then jumping down on the enemy. Seems to be working out fairly well. Volatile does die to the Dragon Strike, but two, Hammer and Mishra are down. Both teams are losing so many members. Komodo Yukon is the last one left. The nuke doesn't land on anybody and is trying to get back to the team. Isn't able to do it and gets killed.
With that though, but with that cap alone, that is also just the end of the fight as well, because it's that you want to just back off and just immediately have that next fight to be readily available for your 6-man group.
So this could be good for both teams. Lots of opportunities here. One thing is interesting, Mishra has swapped over to the Soldier. He gets a quick kill onto Volatile, and it seems like that extra damage, that hit scan is what they need. They're doing a lot of damage. It's Voltage gets picked out as well. Weapon Tex has to commit suicide, and they're wanting to get on top of Mighty Peon as well. They do it.
Ooh, this is quite the turnaround. We have to just see how well they're able to just keep up that kind of ults and just being able to just stop any kind of, just any form. I don't want to say shenanigans again, but I'm going to say shenanigans again. Shenanigans.
Funny business. Tomfoolery.
Ooh, that's quite an impressive dictionary you have.
I read Huckleberry Finn. So now it's time for another fight. Hammer is onto that back line using the Primal Rage, knocking people around, trying to get just that disturbance, and does take out Voltage, but does have to fall in return. Teddy is doing quite a bit of damage there. Mishra is doing good work on the point though, does take out Mal. No main take on either side. A great anti-nade gets many members on the side of Smile. They back off, they go around the corner, they don't want to overextend. Clever gets a kill on Volatile, could be good, and the sun falls to Weapon Tech Bomb. This could be what they need. Hammer is just holding on with every fiber of their being, and it is not enough. Dragon Blade from Voltage going to be trying to clean up Lord Yukon and is going to be knocking him out of the mech, and they are going to fall.
Wee! And with that, we're going to be seeing the next push coming out from the side of Smile this evening, and we only can be able to see possibly one more fight coming out from the side of Komodo, and this is going to be a rough one. With that kind of ult economy that they are sitting on, they have a higher advantage, but with Mighty Peon's high Maroon, let's just see how many picks he's able to get from it.
The nuke ended up catching on the bridge, didn't fall down onto the road, and because of that, is it going to be catching anybody? Clever, falling very low, does die, and because of that, there's a lot of DPS missing from the side of Komodo. Lord Yukon getting knocked out of the mech, getting stalled out. Will they be able to hold? May not be enough. Mishra getting a good kill onto Voltage, though. Looks like they will be able to hold it for a little while longer. Only a minute left on the clock.
Let us see. With this kind of hold, it was only 1 more minute left, so this is the possibility of either 2 more fights if they're able to regroup faster, or this might be the last fight for the side of Smile this evening.
Looks like it. They're wanting to push forward. If Komodo wins this, then they take away the day we won't be seeing a map 5, but we could still be seeing it now. Jumping on the back, wanting to do some damage. It has the nano boost on them, and so is getting quite a bit of damage. The nano boosted tag visor is going to be doing a lot of damage, taking out Mighty Peon, taking out Weapon Tex, and Volatile does fall to Hammer, and now it's time for more fights. They're just pushing forward, they're wiping out the enemy. There's only 20 seconds left. Can they get on the point? I don't think they can.
This switch coming out from Mighty Peon going over to the Widowmaker. Let us see if he's able to get those backline picks or just trying to use that grapple to immediately just go straight to the point.
Now it's time. This could be it. Weapon Tech is trying to get on there. Is on the point, contesting it along with Mal, who is swapped over to the Hammer. They trigger overtime and then fall back a little bit. Mal using the ground pound to knock up the enemy team, and there is the Dragon Blade from Voltage taking out Mishra, who is in the back. Nuke does come through, and it is going to be catching Volatile. This is neck and neck. Can they do it? Mal is trying to do everything they can, but Clever has used the Dragon Blade to clean up the point. That is so still a contention on the point. Mal says objection, no, gets knocked out of the ball, and that is going to be it. Komodo takes away today with their 3rd win
Ooh-wee! And with that, the series goes over to the side of Komodo with 3-1 this evening.
And so we are going to be going to our fourth map, but look at this great play from Bolton. We saw
already
so
did our
many
fourth
great
map.
dragon plays. That was the fourth map. I am losing
That was the fourth map, 3-1.
Maybe I just don't want it to be over.
Oh, you want it to last forever. But good thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Kings Row was the third map. You're right.
Yes, it was. Yes, it
Oh,
was. my
well, it
dude.
was a great day to start off this new season. So many big things are happening, and as we can see, a lot of exciting plays. These teams are ready to get back in the action.
Oh my goodness. Oh, let's see. Let's see here. I believe that the next thing that we have to go over is the player of the match this evening. Do you have any suggestions for what you would like to see?
Oh man, it's so difficult. Both of these main tanks were going at each other so hard, and Clever was doing great work on the Sombra. I think I'm going to have to give it to Clever. In the end, just had so many great EMPs and good communication with the main tanks that no matter who they were playing with had great plays thanks to those EMPs. Maybe had some difficulties getting some good hacks off, but I think overall really swung the match in Komodo's favor.
I have to agree with you on that one, but for me though, my pick this evening has to be for Clever. With him switching off to the Sombra, and with him getting those devastating EMPs to combo with Hammer and the Zarya with Lord Yukon, it was quite a devastating blow to Smile's coordination, and it really pressed that kind of pressure that Komodo was really lacking. So I definitely have to say Clever this evening did a much better job.
Glad we are in agreement. We're seeing McBean being saying the Sun should be EMP. Lots of great transcendences from the Sun. Absolute great plays from from all of the support players. I think all of the players did well today. There isn't really anybody that I would look at and say they didn't perform well, and that's really saying something. Usually, I could point to someone and say it's like, they could have. They didn't really perform as well as they could have. And I think just so many great plays overall. Mr. Clever saying that he got carried. Well, it's good to be supportive of your team.
Alrighty, and Peeps, what do you think is going to be your player of the match this evening? From what we were being told from Peeps over here is that he is saying that Hammer is going to be his player of the match this evening. He said a lot of other words, but I heard the word hammer and I started thinking of just hammering nails. So, good on you, Hammer.
When all you have is a hammer, then
everything
else is a nail.
But with that, though, I think that is going to be it. Do you have any closing remarks or any statements you would like to say, Litzy?
Just all of the normal things. This has been O.C.C. Scrims Overwatch Cavalry Club. We're a Facebook group that has so many members. I forget the exact numbers, but it's a lot. And now we have a growing community here in the scrimmage community. If you want to join the Discord, it's right down below the stream. You can go down there into the About panels and find the link. If you want to just be a community member, you can apply for that. Also, that's your chance to be a player for some of these teams. If you are silver to diamond, you can play on one of the teams. If you're above that, master, grandmaster, or even top 500, you can be a coach for the team. And if you want to join our stream team, we're always looking for new casters, camera peoples, streamers, and game hosts. So thank you all very much for watching. I've been the Litzy, joined by Hidden Pants, and we'll see you guys next time.
I am a beluga whale stuck in a boy's body.
Except